Chapter 6, Lesson 7 on similar figures. So similar figures are figures that have the same shape but different sizes. Okay? In similar figures, they always have the same angle measures, and the sides are proportionate. Okay, so their sides are proportional and their angles are equal to each other. All right, now their corresponding parts are the angles and sides that are in the same position. So usually if we turn them and we can get them to kind of look the same, just like one was enlarged, the ones that are in the same position are called the corresponding parts. Okay, so for example, if we see these two triangles and we say triangle ABC, and this symbol right here means similar to triangle ZXY. Now, what that already tells me is that I don't even have to look at the pictures to know that angle A is the same as angle Z, B is the same as X, C is the same as Y. They must go in that same order when I write them. So if I was going to write their corresponding parts, right, their corresponding parts in a triangle, there are 6. There's 3 sides and 3 angles. So their corresponding parts, I would say, well, angle A, and we don't necessarily just have to say that it's similar. We can actually say that it is congruent because they're equal. So angle A is congruent to angle Z, angle B is congruent to angle X, and angle C is congruent to angle Y. Okay? And then I also have their 3 sides that I say are corresponding to one another. Now another symbol that you'll see sometimes for corresponding is angle A corresponds with angle Z. And so you can see that they are corresponding with each other. So we'll do that for the sides. So we're going to say side AB, and we write it with a line over it. Now this is what I have to do, is I have to say, okay, these triangles have kind of been flipped. So AB, and I know that angle A is congruent to angle Z, so AB is going to be congruent to ZX. So AB and ZX. And let's do that little corresponding sign. So then let's do AC, and I know that AC is going to correspond to ZY. Now I could have said CA, but then I would have needed to say it corresponds with YZ, and you can do that. You don't need to repeat the names, but you can say them the opposite way. And then let's say BC corresponds with XY. We put the lines above them and show that they correspond to one another. Alright, so if 2 figures are similar, then we know a couple things. We kind of already wrote this down, but let's get it down again in our notes. 2 figures are similar, then their corresponding angles are congruent, and their corresponding sides are proportional. Okay? And so they must be proportional with one another. So let's look at an example. So if I have these 2 trapezoids here, and it tells me MNOP is similar to BCDA, and I need to find MP. So this is the one that I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and put that first because that's the one that I know. And as I need to say, I'm going to say, okay, which one does MP correspond with? Well, I can even look at the names of them. MP is going to correspond with BA. So what's the measure of BA? 15. And then I'm going to say, okay, what's another side on this trapezoid that I know? And in this case, I only know one of them. And so the only way I can solve it is if I know the other one that corresponds with this. Now, if I know many of them, I need to find a side and then its corresponding side, And I need to find two that match and go with each other that I can use. So I'm going to use MN, which is 5. And I'm going to say MN corresponds with BC. Okay, good thing, because I know that that's 10. And then I'm going to solve that proportion. X times 10 is 10x. 5 times 15 is 75. Divide by 10, 7.5 equals x. So MP is 7.5, and they're all measured in centimeters. And then I need to find the measure of angle C. So I'm going to look back at my names, and I'm going to say, okay, C corresponds with N. If N is 148, the measure of angle C is 148 degrees. They're just the same. They're congruent. Okay, so let's look at this figure. It says find EF. So find EF. That's the one that's X. So I'm going to put X over. And which one corresponds with EF? I like to use these names here. EF corresponds with BA. So it's over 12. And then I need to say, okay, I'm going to go back to the triangle that has EF. And while I don't know what ED is, so I'm going to use DF is 10. And DF must correspond with CA. So it must go over 28. And then I say 28x equals 120. I divide both sides by 28. And I get a long number across my calculator, so I'm going to round to the nearest tenth. And I'm going to say about 4.3. And I look, they're all measured in inches. So 4.3 inches.